exciting time at Silly Farm and FX Cosplay and Faba TV and PayPal because we have so much going on. I am so excited to announce the launch of 2 new projects that I have been working on for a very, very long time. So the first is the new book by Marcella and I. This is the book of Rainbows and Bling, and this is our newest and latest and greatest collaboration. We've been working on this book, and it incorporates all the amazing, colorful, rainbow-inspired designs with a touch of bling in there. So there's girls' designs, boys' designs. They are step-by-step, which is always important. Even information on how to make the bling clusters. So if you haven't got your copy already, make sure to hop on over to Silly Farm and my official partners all over the world and get yourself a copy. This is a must-have in your library. Not just because I painted most of the designs in it, because all of the designs in this book are practical. They can be used on the job. There's lots of tips and tricks and color combinations that I know will help you on your day-to-day face painting. So definitely check that out. The second thing that I wanted, and I'm so excited, and the reason for today's video is our new, what is this?
Paint Pal brushes!
Yay! So this is my new collection of brushes. They are called the Paint Pal collection. This is so important to me because I've been working for the past 2 years to develop a line of paint brushes that are just ideal for face painters, for face and body artists. So I hand designed each one of these brushes for a specific purpose, which I'm going to show you a few of them now, just to kind of explain the differences, what they do, how to get the maximum benefit out of them. So when I set out to design the brushes, I knew that there was something very important that I wanted, which was a pink handle. The signature pink handle is so me, and it looks pretty in our kits while we're face painting. When your brushes are lined up on your brush easel, these beautiful pink handles really, really do stand out. The second thing was quality. I am an active face painter, so I go through brushes rather quickly. So when I designed these brushes, I wanted the hairs to be nice and strong. I wanted them to hold up in repeated use of water, and I wanted them to achieve something specific for each brush. So I'm going to get this video rolling and explain the differences between the brush, how to use them, and hopefully you will fall in love with them too. So thanks again for joining me and Leah, my co-host. At this point, she's just my co-host. That's exactly what it is. It's not my channel, it's our channel, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's get started. So the first brush I'm going to start with is the Artie Brush Large. So many of you have a brush like this in your kits. It would be considered a 3/4 flat. It is the perfect size to go inside of your Artie cakes. So I designed this brush to have a nice chisel on it. What that means is that when you run your fingers over the brush, it gets to a nice thin tapered off point, if you can see that there. That's excellent for making long straight lines, for moving on the tip without the bristles separating. It doesn't just bend, it has a nice spring to it. So when I designed this brush, I wanted to make sure it had all of the things to help you create fast, easy Artie brush strokes. So all I would do is just load up my brush back and forth, just like that, making sure that you get a lot of paint on your brush. You still want to load all those bristles. Start off in the middle of the forehead here, and this is just really to help you practice. So I just start off in the middle here, and I make my almost like clamshells. From the temples of the forehead, I'm going to also make those strokes, just like that, and again right here. But when you have the right brush to create your Artie strokes, really it's a lot faster and easier. So once you let the first layer dry, I'm just gonna go right on top of it with the second layer. So I just kind of press it in there just like that. So you see, this brush will help you accomplish some really cool strokes. The next brush I'm going to show you guys is the Artie Brush Mini. So it is the half version of the Artie Brush Large. This would be considered almost like a number 12 brush, flat brush. So for those of you that struggle with larger brushes for your Artie cakes, this is a really good brush to make smaller designs, smaller butterflies when you are struggling with your large 3/4. So you're going to use it the same way. As you can tell, it doesn't fit the entire width of your Artie cake. So if you have an Artie cake cake like this with smaller colors in it, this is a great brush for just say picking up 2 colors. So you're going to use it the same exact way, just simply back and forth picking up the colors that you want to use. So once you have it nice and loaded, if you wanted to go back in there and give it a little bit of detail, a second layer of detail, a smaller layer of detail, you definitely could. Say if you wanted to add a few more little strokes in there, you could, because a smaller brush will let you do that. Now this next brush is probably my favorite in the collection, and I designed it for all of you who struggle with teardrops. Now this is not your typical round brush. Most of us are used to using a gold grip number 4, number 3 to do our teardrops. I designed this brush and appropriately named it the teardrop brush, mainly so that you can create those thin to thick teardrops that a lot of us struggle with. So I'm going to show you what I mean. So I would just load it up. So once you have your brush really loaded, it's going to help you do those nice, smooth teardrops from thin to thick. So say I want to go right from the middle, straight line, press. Straight from the middle, press. And say from the bottom, same thing, press, 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 press. So you see, this particular brush was designed to make these beautiful teardrops without having to think too much about it. The base of the brush is going to hold the majority of the paint, but it still has a nice tip on it so that when you want to create these thin lines and then a nice teardrop on the tip, you're going to have a combination to do so. All you would have to do is just straight line, press, straight line, press. And the harder you press, the bigger the teardrop is going to be. So you want to make sure that you just keep on practicing with a brush like this to help you to be able to get some really beautiful teardrops. The next 2 brushes I'm going to show you are the big and the little drop brush. So basically these are filbert brushes. I designed these brushes to go perfectly in the corners of the eyes, to go perfectly on the lips if you're going to be applying lipstick, to go great in the corners of the mouth, to make hearts. These are 2 of my most used brushes besides my round brushes. The reason being is I do a lot of line work on the eyes. I do a lot of muzzle work. I do a lot of drawing eyebrows. So I designed these brushes to be able to have a nice tip on them. Again, that if you touch them, you can feel that it goes to a nice point. And you'll see what I mean. I'm going to show them to you and how I would add them to this design. They come in 2 sizes, just depending on your preference, but I really find that these brushes work exceptionally well for me to be able to make bolder teardrops with that end on a nice point to cover the eyes and to create the muzzle. So I'll start off with the large drop brush. Again, you always want a good nice load it back and forth. So I can make these nice, beautiful, long teardrops with it. So I would just press and pull to a tip, press, pull to a tip. See what a great brush this is because you get a nice fat base and then nice thin lines. So I'll repeat that, press, just like that. As I explained, it's also a great brush to go right in the corners of the eye. So I'm going to switch over to a gold and show you how I'm able to just line the eyes. So close your eyes. So starting, because it has that nice round point, I can just cover it. Now the smaller counterpart, the little drop brush, I'm going to use for a couple of other strokes. Again, loading it up. And I'll just go right over these leaves in here, press and pull, just like that, to give it that same effect, just a little bit more detailed involved in it, especially if you wanted to go inside of that section just like that, in these smaller to reach areas. And it's also amazing for making bolder teardrops. So if I wanted to just go in and create these bolder teardrops, I would have no problem because of the shape of it. So close your eyes one more time. So I can even use the tip and create some strokes just like that. So this brush is going to be one of your most versatile brushes. Okay, last but not least, the new and improved Pretty Petal brush. So we have sold a ton of Pretty Petal brushes over the year. If you don't know what they are, they're used to make the perfect flower petals. And our last versions were great, and they've been great to us over the past couple years. The only downside to them is because all of the hairs were at the base, they started to fray towards the middle. And people would call me and say, it's not working because the hairs are fraying. And that would happen over time. So when I redesigned this brush, the tip had to be a little bit longer in order for the bristles to be able to kind of all join together and stick together at the base. So when you see the new and improved version, you might say, oh, it's a little bit longer, I don't know how to use it, but I can definitely show you how. So you're going to load it up the same exact way. If you want a two-tone flower, then you're just going to dip the tip in another color so that you have two colors multi-loaded. So in order for you to get those beautiful petals, you probably want to just create a center point so that you know where to lay your brush, and you're just going to press your bristles in a nice circle. So I start off there, always keeping the point in a nice circle, all the points heading in. So finish off with my flower petal brush. Right in between on this angle, I'm just going to press my Pretty Petal brush down into a line to create some hanging little flowers. And I'll do the same thing on this side. So you press and just keep the tips in the same direction. This brush works the same way that your teardrop brush would. The harder you press, the larger the petals are going to be. So if I wanted to just add smaller little baby's breath in there, I could by just pressing ever so gently on my brush. So finally, I'm just going to load up my little drop brush with a little bit of the magenta, and I like to mix it with a little bit of the red because I like that mixture combination for the lips, because right, every design needs what? Lipstick. That's right. Okay, so as I was saying, this is the perfect brush for the lips. So I hope you enjoyed this demonstration using all of the new Paint Pal brushes. The even more exciting news is that I have been working on the Swirl collection. The Swirl collection are our round brushes, so the 1, the 3, the 5, the 6. And I'm just waiting on them to come in. I was really strict about the quality of them because I know what I was looking for in a brush. So hopefully they're on their way. You will see them soon. But in the meantime, you have 6 awesome new Paint Pal brushes. As you can see, you can accomplish a lot of different strokes that you might have been struggling with before. So I tried to simplify it, make it easy, and they are available at Silly Farm and our retail partners. So again, if you have questions, if you have concerns, if you want to know anything, email us, find us on Facebook. We are super socially active. So I hope everybody is doing great. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the brand